Sorry, Shan, just realised completely cut you off with the jingle. Hello, everyone. You're watching the Cheese Room podcast. It's me, the caller, again from the Caller's Cave, and I'm joined by three very special guests this evening. So first up, from the South Coast, how are you, John? You're looking cold in there tonight.
It is really cold in this room today. I've put the heater on, but it's going to take about 2 hours to heat up, at which point we'll be finishing. So then I can get back in a nice warm house. But yeah, hi, been on a 10K run. Happy days.
Okay, and joining us after a mid-season break, she returned on Friday with all the joys and happiness of a wet Tuesday in Stoke. No offence, Seb. We're hoping she's a bit happier tonight. Shan, welcome back. You okay? You're looking very pink tonight.
Yeah, just like my tonsils at the minute. If I go a bit croaky, it's because I've got tonsillitis, living my best life. So
yeah, important stuff first. Welfare check. Have you had some paracetamol and have you got a drink to hand?
Yes, and yes.
Okay, good stuff. Well, we will look after you. Don't worry about it. And it's been a while since this gentleman graced us with his presence, but he needs to tell some more tales, and we need a sponsor. So he's promised to commission any sales he makes of 0.00015% of all the way from Cheshire borders. It's Stoke himself, Seb. How are you, Stoke Seb?
I'm good, thank you very much. Yeah. John thinks that I've come on to rant. That apparently that's my only use.
Or there was a sales pitch.
Well, no doubt I will rant at some point. Just what I do, but nothing that I really feel that I need to get off my chest. Other than John's told me that I can't wear my glasses because they glint, so I can just see a bit of a haze at the moment.
Short-sighted or long-sighted, Seb?
Just old, I think.
Just old.
Yeah.
When you have to get glasses to read, that's when you're old.
Yeah, no, I have to get glasses to read and the screen, and my eyes have been getting worse ever since I've had the glasses. So yeah, it's got a downward spiral, I think.
Did you get them professionally done or off eBay? Was it a dodgy deal? Did you get them in bulk?
Just some bloke on a street corner, mate.
That's how it happens up north, I'm told. There you go. Right, first up, we've got. We should have had a game to talk about tonight, so let's cover that briefly. So, whose fault is it, Shan? Arsenal's or the Premier League? What's going on?
It's Arsenal's fault for being incompetent and not being able to manage their squad properly. And by the way, absolutely taking the piss by sending out yet another player on loan today because apparently they didn't have enough to play. So I'm assuming it'll be the same case against Liverpool on Thursday. But also the Premier League have set a poor precedent by allowing this to happen. Arsenal thought they'd chance it based on some of the games that have been postponed previously. Should it have been allowed to happen? No. But if the Premier League have set that precedent, then I suppose you can't fault them for trying it on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Seb,
it's quite balanced, weren't it? Really,
it's way too balanced. You clearly had some tranquilizers or something with your dinner.
It's early.
I thought you were telling me to get a move on, John. Seb,
it's cold.
Yeah, you're telling me to get a move on in a minute. Seb, you must have a view on this. You're never shy of one.
Yeah, definitely got a view. Shan's right that the Premier League have set a precedent, and also that Arsenal are trying it on. But yeah, if you want to blame anyone, I would blame the Premier League. I mean, I've said in a lot of my articles and when I'm on the pod as well as YouTube that the Premier League is a $1 billion industry, and yet it is run by absolute charlatans. I mean, no other business would be run that way by faceless people. We don't know who they are. We don't know how they met, where they met, how much money was paid to get things done the way that certain clubs wanted to get them done, because it has to be taken into consideration. And now we've got Burnley asking for a postponement. We've got no evidence of the cases that they have. All we know is that they sold their striker and can't find another one. So hey, let's try and postpone a few more games. It's going to have massive implications because the Premier League won't finish at a later date than it's already given, because the only way they can do that is what happened a couple of seasons ago with COVID, where everyone's going to finish at a later date. They will have to finish the season when they said they are going to finish it, and that means clubs like Tottenham, Burnley, Leicester, I think is another one, are going to be massively behind and trying to fit games in whenever they can. It's just so badly run. Like I said, no big business would be run as badly as this. It's awful.
And of course, as Kerry makes a point there, ridiculous how long it actually took to let the fans know. Seb, you were coming down from Stoke, weren't you?
Yeah.
I was looking forward to seeing you on Sunday at the game.
Everyone was, Caller. Everyone was.
What, looking forward to seeing you?
Yeah. 62,000 of them.
Well, look, I was gutted, and hopefully we'll make the rescheduled match. But I'm sure.
Well, if it's midweek, this is the thing. If it's midweek, which no doubt it will be, no chance. I've got zero chance.
I don't think anyone was more upset than Shan, to be honest. She was raging. To be fair, have you got over it yet, Shan?
I'm just about over it. Look, unfortunately, I'm far away, and it'll be a late night. But I'll make it happen. Like, I'll get there one way or another. But for those that live much further than I do, like Seb does, there's no way people, like someone had flown over from New York for this game. Thousands of pounds they've lost because of this. And I just think, once again, it's the fans that miss out. I know so many that won't be able. It will be a midweek. It'll be a Wednesday 8:00 kickoff. And there'll be so many people that can't go, that you're going to lose the atmosphere. It's just not going to be right. But then at the same time, they've shot themselves in the foot. It's a good time to play us at the minute. We've got COVID issues of our own. We've got key players out injured, half our starting 11 out injured. They could have given us a go still with the players we've got out, but now they're probably going to be facing a full strength Spurs, hopefully with some new additions.
Well, we'll definitely come on to that, Shan.
Was it the right thing to do?
That's why Seb's really here. He's here to dig out the board later. But
Seb, did you hear my rant on Friday?
No, go on, tell me.
Just save it for the transfer section. Save it for the transfer. Yeah, we will get to that. But in the meantime, there's 51 people watching. I'm not sure how many likes there are, but if there isn't 51, that's the maths don't add up. So please do smash that like button. And please do leave us a comment or a super chat so we know you are here. John, I'm not going to leave you out of this lovely chat about Arsenal. How can one COVID case lead to this? Now, the only thing I'd say is the precedent was already set before this game, wasn't it? We knew what was going to happen, surely, by what Leicester did a few days before. So
it's a strange one, because obviously Palace tried to get the Boxing Day game called off, and I think Palace had far more cases. So that was odd. The weird thing is, and I get what you're saying, and Chan's right, it's Arsenal's fault for starting the process. However, they just played the rules. The rules, and Chan's already sworn, so I'm going to say the rules are bollocks. They're absolute crap. Why
it doesn't take long for Shan to get a bit sweary, especially when she's ill.
It was 3 minutes, It was just, why have we got this rule? I know, but also the Premier League clubs would have had to agree to these rules and the wording of the rules. So what the Premier League clubs need to take a bit of responsibility and go, why have they allowed this rule to come into place? But go on, Seb.
It's been purposefully flaky. It's for the very reason that we've seen, in that you can work it to your own ends. That's the issue. And the Premier League, I forgot what they call them, the stakeholders, that's what they call them. I mean, again, tenuous bollocks. Yeah, we've all said it now. Whereby people are trying to benefit themselves to the detriment of others, where what it should be is a rule by a third party, none of these stakeholders or anything like that, putting a rule in place like they've done in La Liga, which states that you've got 5 first-team players fit, you can make up the rest, or you have to make up the rest with youth team, whatever.
That's a point,
as long as you've got 5.
It's a good point. If I may just...
How many cancellations have they had? How many cancellations have La Liga had? Not one.
But equally, teams in the Premier League have done that. I mean, as is being pointed out in the chat right now, Leeds had a 15-year-old on the bench and a bench full of teenagers and got the game on.
And won the game.
And won.
Yeah. Because this is the thing, and this is what really sticks, I think, in fans' throats is, right, we love our football clubs. And we obviously want them to do well. And in an ideal world, we want them to play their best 11. And, we would have loved it to absolutely whip Arsenal. But on the other side, we pay phenomenal amounts of money. And these players, I'm not blaming the players here, but these players are on phenomenal amounts of money. You expect them to, or the clubs, to be able to kind of play by the rules and play it fair. And all credit to Leeds, and there's others. I think Watford's another one that have been struggling and getting teams out.
Wolves had 2 keepers.
Wolves. Yeah, Wolves. Yeah, absolute fair play to them. I would applaud them off the come and play and get beat 5-0 for all I care, because you're playing by the rules, you're playing fair, and you get applauded off the pitch for doing the right thing. Arsenal can go themselves, and exactly the same for quite a few others. I mean, Burnley are 100% taking the piss.
Well, they are.
If I could just say about that, Seb, it was Burnley got the game at the weekend called off, not Leicester. So Burnley had problems before this, and they have got a small squad. I think the thing about Wood is they had a buyout clause. I think they had to let him go.
Yeah, no, I'm not doubting that. But now they're desperately scrabbling for another striker, and they try and get games postponed before they find one.
Yeah, there you go. The average age of the bench high, Russ, was 18, minus Rodrigo.
Unbelievable.
I mean, and a couple of those kids came on and did really well, has to be said.
Yeah. And turn over West Ham, so we love that. We love to see that. More of that, please. Yeah, absolutely. That did put a smile on my face. And what a fantastic game Rafinha had. Seb, are you thinking big transfer move for him shortly? I've heard Bayern are sniffing around him.
Yeah, not in the Premier League. I don't think he'll move to a Premier League club. But yeah, it's potentially one. Probably could well be the best player outside the top 6 or the supposed top 6. Yeah, he's destined for bigger things. Not sure about Bayern. Not sure if he'd fit in there as well with the similar players that they've got. But yeah, I could see him at a big club.
What's your thoughts on? Sorry, Cole. What's your thoughts on Harrison, Seb?
Oh, I like him, but I've liked him for a long time. He's born in Stoke-on-Trent, so I've got to like him. But yeah, he's a good player. Little bit inconsistent recently. I think a couple of seasons ago. No, last season. I can't quite get my seasons right, but for a while he was right on top of his game. I thought he might actually get into the England squad. But there's a few of them now. Hate to say it, Bowen looks like an England player to me. There's all this English talent coming through. Fantastic. Just wish we had a few more.
There you go. The Grey dynasty. Archie Gray on the bench. Yeah, 15 years old. Imagine that. Christ.
What were you doing at 15, Caller?
Down the mine, I think. Wasn't I?
This is a family show, Seb.
I was definitely down the mine at that stage. Yeah, absolutely. Shan, I know how much you love West Ham, so I'll ask you this one. They're now 4 points clear of us, but we have 4 games in hand, and they keep losing. Does that make you happy?
It will make me happy when we actually surpass them in the table. I don't think we can gloat just yet. I mean, the games we've got are winnable. The games in hand we've had are all winnable games. I know our away form isn't great, but Arsenal at home, I really hope we turn them over just out of pure principle and the fact that every gunner is a runner. Although I will give it to my dad. My dad did say it was a disgrace that they got the game called off. So big up Father Dave. But yeah, the other 3 away games are winnable. Leicester, we often turn up against Leicester. That's why they hate us so much. Burnley.
I mean, I'm there Wednesday night. Yeah.
If it goes ahead, hopefully it does.
Why wouldn't it? Why would it not?
I just have a funny feeling that they're going to try and get it called off.
They've got enough players now. They've got plenty of players fit. They're fine. Yeah, they're happy to play.
I think the thing about Leicester is they've got Europe to worry about. The games we've got, there's no Europe, so they can be spread out. That's why they need to get this game in January.
But we will talk about Leicester later on. We will talk about that later on.
Leicester and then Brighton away as well. It's another winnable game. Even though they're in good form, it could be a potential banana skin. It's if we want to be top 4 and we want to be finishing above Arsenal and West Ham and United, we need to be winning those games. So we could catch up with Chelsea in third if we win all those.
Wow. We're funnily enough, we're jumping ahead now, but we are absolutely going to talk about Chelsea form. Before we do that, Adama proved all the at-home statisticians wrong, banging in a goal at the weekend. That's the first one of the season for him. Is he coming to Spurs, do you think, Seb?
Yeah, I think he probably is. It's a Levy type deal, isn't it? Yeah, he's in the last 18 months of his contract. He's £20 million cheaper than we were quoted in the summer. That'll make Levy's hands itch. So I think it's just a Levy type deal. He's probably got
Paratici these days.
Yeah, but Levy's holds the strings, doesn't he? But it's just the type of quite annoying deal that Spurs go for, where he's probably got resale value. He's going to go one of two ways: either we'll sell him on for a nice little profit, or it'll be another Bergwijn and we'll lose 5 to 10 million. It's just another bore. It's boring. It's really boring. I
disagree. I disagree completely with you, but yeah. Listen,
even if he's decent, and obviously if he joins Spurs, I hope he is. That's not quite what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it's like a non-risky deal again. There's no going that extra yard to find that extra player who'll give us something extra. It's a really boring. We know what we're going to get. It's not going to be amazing. It might be good.
You're so moody.
But no, I'm not moody. I don't get the point. For me, it's 20 million quid up the Swanee because he is another Lucas Moura, Steven Bergwijn. It's exactly the same thing. Doesn't really produce, has the odd good game, a bit flashy here and there, can do the odd thing. But the end products, I'm saying a lot of what's already been said. We know the end product's not amazing. He'll get bums off seats occasionally. But who knows? The only other question mark is, can Conte turn him into the wing back? And will we see something different if he does that? It's a big if. I'm not sure. I am ranting now. Our scouting department is fucking awful. The amount of work that I think would have gone into Traore is the same as what I would do on Football Manager. Because we all know if it's anything more than that, I don't think you'd buy him.
Okay. Are you finished?
I could go on and on.
Well, we're going to talk transfers, but this is just to say Fabrizio Romano has said next week is important for Spurs and to keep an eye on Adama Traore. This note...
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you again. That annoys me as well. That really annoys me. Why is next week important? If you know who you're getting.
It's this week, Seb. He said that he made these comments on Sunday. So, yeah.
Right. So,
does that calm you down a bit?
If you know who you're buying, no, not really. If you know who you're buying, get them in and get it done.
Wow.
It is exactly what I said on Friday.
I am glad. I am glad on that point. I am glad you bring the transfer window up because on this note, if Traore hasn't signed by Thursday, we can ask Mr. Romano ourselves, as the exclusive interview is going to be on the Cheese Room. An interview with Fabrizio Romano. He's coming on the Cheese Room. He is here from 1:35 p.m. UK time, Thursday the 20th of January. My birthday. I get to interview him on my birthday. So join us here. We'll be live on YouTube putting the questions to him. So we can absolutely ask him about Adama Traore. I can ask him why have we left it so late, Seb, as well. I'll say Sebastian's ranting about this. What can you put on it? So do set your bookmarks. The link's up on YouTube. It's live now. So if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and do give us a like today as well. I'm not sure how many we're on. John's going to have to give me a little count. Look, I can make the
28.
Been proof, Shan.
28 out of 90. Not good.
Just click like that. Click the bell. Job done. That's enough. Shan, you don't look too impressed with that.
No. I'm not giving you the satisfaction.
Oh, I thought you would. Speaking of this week's action, what a free kick by James Ward-Prowse. I mean, what a hit. Do you think he's someone we could look to sign, Seb? I mean, are you a fan of his?
No.
Not a fan of his?
No, I'm a really big fan. He's a cracking player. Absolutely cracking player. Might have stood more of a chance if Poch was still there. Obviously, they had that relationship. But no, he's just signed a contract last year, didn't he? I think 5-year contract. He loves Southampton. If he does go, he'll go to a Champions League team. It will cost upwards of 80 million. Just the type of person that we would love and will never get.
Oh, he's so negative. John, what about
I'm not negative, mate. You asked me a question. It's realistic. Absolutely.
John, I want you to talk, not Seb. What's your views?
Why did Seb come on?
I don't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we said he's got something to say. James Ward-Prowse, a taker for you. Do you think he'd be a bit cheaper than 80 million? I think that's quite outrageous. But
well, Southampton were bought out a few months ago. They've got new owners, haven't they? So it's hard to tell what the regime will be. But you'd expect that they've got a bit more money and won't need to sell the way they have done over the recent years. Would I take him? I think it's similar to the Traore. At the moment, would he improve us? Yes, is the answer. But it's whether we would go for him. I think we'll probably go for a cheaper option, unfortunately. But his free kick was just phenomenal. The technique, that's not his normal style of technique. He's definitely adapted that, and that was astonishing.
That's an absolute
34
banger.
yards.
Is that how far it was? Absolute banger. Top corner.
Morten Gamps Pedersen. That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
He could take a free kick.
Yeah, but James Ward-Prowse is a little bit better than Morten Gamps Pedersen.
Yeah.
So,
here's what I like. Yeah, Prowse comes to us. We won't ever see Kane near a free kick again. To be honest, any free kick specialist, get him in the door. Get him in the door. Anything to get Kane off free kicks, you know. Looking elsewhere around the Premier League, obviously the Villa game finished 2-2 with United. A howler by Martinez. And Villa not at the races first half. Gerrard sorted it. Ramsey looks a decent player. And Coutinho came off the bench, set up the first and obviously scored the goal that got them the draw. Did we miss a trick with Coutinho, Seb? In fact, no. I'm not coming back to you.
I was going to say, go to Shab.
You talk some sense because Seb's not.
I know I said to you to give me some good breaks, but you've said about 3 questions. I've just been sat here like...
I'm trying to look after your voice.
Say something here, and you're not coming to me. But
look,
okay,
I've come to you now. So tell me.
I don't. Coutinho was always going to be one of those where it would either really work out or it wouldn't. And even though he's come off the bench and set one up and scored one against probably the most poor United team in many, many years, that doesn't mean he's going to be a success in the Premier League again. I hope he is. But I just don't think that's the type of risk we need to be taking right now. I think we need to be going after players that have been proved. Like he's not played any football, has he? You're not going to be able to get too many minutes out of him. He's going to need to be carefully managed, and I just think we need a player that can play game in, game out, has good fitness,
like a Gareth Bale kind of loan, yeah. Because that's what we did with him, isn't it? You know, we managed him.
Yeah, I mean, but with Gareth Bale, we didn't manage him properly. If anything, he was too underused. Jose clearly was trying to prove a point with Bale. With Coutinho, I think it would be almost similar, but Coutinho's not Gareth Bale.
No, he's better.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I think he's, if you look at what he's done, he's obviously Liverpool 4 years ago and fantastic player. Went for stupid money because Barcelona, thought they had it to spend and didn't.
But then he done nothing there.
Well, his stats actually aren't that bad at Barcelona. The only difference is he's not a Messi. You know,
he's not right up there with Bale, though, is he, in terms of silverware and stats, is he? I'm sure.
No, but he was in a declining Barcelona team for a start. He's playing with the likes of Dembele.
Well, true, but he was bought to improve the team and hasn't. I suppose that's the point.
No, he wasn't. He was bought to replace Neymar. So that's not improving the team. That he's bought as a Neymar replacement. He then goes on loan to Bayern Munich, wins the Champions League. I mean, absolutely pivotal in a game where Bayern Munich then beat Barcelona 8-2. So the guy's a really good player. Yeah, I agree with Shan that he'd have to be managed because you're getting a player in who hasn't played a lot of football, and that in the Premier League has its own implications. But the chap is a cracking player. Aston Villa, I mean, that is a hell of a signing for them. Absolutely superb. Bums off seats, good time, good feel factor. Whether I think we missed a trick, no, because I don't think he ever would have come to Spurs. So I don't think we missed a trick. I don't see how he would fit in particularly. B, I think as soon as Gerrard was involved, their mates. He's come out and said, "I signed for the manager. I want to play for Stevie G." Fair enough. I think it's a really good signing for Villa, and I don't quite know. I'll tell you where I would think he would have fitted in, but he never would have gone. Is United, but I think they're missing that player in that pocket. But I don't see if there was any other club that really would have gone for him and paid the money. I mean, Villa have pulled off a fantastic one. If you think they signed Buendia for 32 million, similar player to Coutinho, they paid 4 million quid to have Coutinho at the end of for 6 months, and then apparently there's a quite a desirable fee if they want to take him at full time.
It's his wages, isn't it? His wages are ridiculous, like $550 a week or something. So I think that would probably be the stumbling block. But yeah, I agree. Yeah, from my view, it's smart business for Villa. I don't think Conte would want him. Would be my view. But would he have improved our team? Yeah. So I'd have been all for taking him. Obviously, if Conte wouldn't use him, then there's a limited amount of point to it. But
I know we'll come on to our transfers in a bit. But I would be. I don't know what you guys think, but I would imagine we got to move, or at least have agreements to move some out before we announce anyone coming in.
Well, like you say, we'll come to it in a bit. Let's not get too ahead.
The thing with Coutinho is he undoubtedly he improves our squad at the minute, but I just don't see him as a Conte type player. I think the way Conte expects his teams to work and run, it would be like bringing Ronaldo to Spurs. It wouldn't work.
Yeah, I think also
players to run for him, and I don't think Coutinho is that type of player who will do it. So,
or like Bale to come and play for Jose Mourinho. Yeah, indeed,
that too. It just doesn't make any sense. It's a great signing for Villa, and he improves Spurs. But if we'd have signed him, I'd have been happy. But at the same time, I'm not disheartened that we haven't. If Conte didn't want him, he didn't want him. What I do want us to do is sign players that Conte wants, because we're more than halfway through the window now, and time is of the essence.
Yeah, Spurs play this under Conte, and he's done it with particularly with Chelsea. I can't say I saw a lot of Inter Milan when he was there, but even with Italy, he plays in these line formations. So players move at the same, pretty much at the same speed up and down the pitch within their lines. It's like a 4-3-3. And occasionally the front players break the line going forward. But the players move back at the same time. If you play in Coutinho, you're breaking the formation that Conte is basically ingrained, because he plays in the 10. He wouldn't take Son's place as a wide man. So it just would not fit. Like Shan says, I doubt Conte even kind of crossed his mind to get someone like Coutinho in.
I think Tommy's on the money there. He's a flair player, great at cutting in, but I'm not sure he's got the work ethic. Well, elsewhere, City wrapped up the Premier League title for another season, beating Chelsea 1-0. The question is, will Chelsea have to fight for third? It looked like at one point Liverpool, Chelsea and City would run away with those three spots. But Chelsea's form has been, apart from playing us, patchy at best. Are we in with a crazy chance? I say crazy because we've not been very good, but are we in with a crazy chance, John, of catching up and taking Chelsea for that third spot? Or is anyone else?
The ridiculous thing is, obviously you said they play well. I don't think they played brilliantly against us. I think we just self-destructed. 3 stupid goals we conceded. I know they had other chances. Lukaku's had 2 or 3 headers against us. He should have scored all of them that he missed. He's not on it at the moment. They're not quite clicking. That's the key, and that's our only hope on Sunday at the moment. But the only way we're going to win the 4 out of 4 and overtake them is if we sign some good players ultimately. But yeah, I mean, West Ham aren't doing it. Arsenal, depends if they get play. They're obviously going to sign some players because they're shipping them out and trying to avoid games.
Yeah.
United aren't really at the races yet, are they?
No.
So
United are awful.
Well, I think Mr. Ragnick's got his work out there, hasn't he? I think.
I'm quite glad we didn't sign him.
I don't think he was ever in the picture as a manager for us, though, was he? He's more a director of football. I'm surprised they appointed him, say, fancy in the season, but I guess who else was there? Wayne Rooney, maybe? I don't know. It's
not. I am going to rant now about United because it's appalling. It's so bad. You think sometimes some of the car crashes that we've had in terms of, obviously we had the 72 days and things like that. This is the self-styled biggest club in the world. If they want a manager, whoever it is, if they want Conte, they should be able to go and get him.
But I'm told they didn't want Conte.
Well,
they want
but even if they want him now, they could go and get him.
All right, Seb.
They are the biggest club in the world.
I'll play your devil's advocate. They want Poch. Are they bigger than PSG?
Go and get him.
Certainly haven't got deeper pockets.
Go and get him. They've got the money.
How?
Go and get him.
But they haven't compared to PSG, have they?
Right. They're the biggest club in the world, apparently. They go and get whoever they want.
Self-styled.
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Their income is phenomenal. I can't even say it. Big, right? Go and get the biggest manager. Go and get. They can't tie down the player that's on the most money, bar Ronaldo. They can't tie him down to a contract, right? It's appalling. It's such a badly run club. It's phenomenal how bad that is. And to hire a guy and say, you're in for 6 months, you're the interim, then there's a job for you after 6 months, maybe. Yeah, a 2-year job after 6 months where you will help us decide. I mean, what does that do to the dressing room? There is zero respect there. And then on his interview, on his press conference, the very first press conference, he says he'd like to stay for longer than the 6 months. This is just, it's so bad. I mean, look, great
Brendan
for us.
Helping you out with some stats there.
Managed just to eat that. I didn't know that, but it is a shocking appointment because they should have been able to go and get anyone. Zidane, Pochettino, Conte, if they'd have acted quicker. Anyone. And they've chosen a guy who hasn't, like Brent says, 80 games in 10 years. I mean, shocking. And he plays a system that does not suit their players. But I said it before on the pod. They unbelievably are hamstrung, I believe, by the signing of Ronaldo. That's one. It's done nothing for Greenwood, nothing for Sancho. Trying to get Cavani in alongside Ronaldo to play this system. Martial wants out. They're not good. They haven't got good defenders. I don't know why they thought Varane was the answer. Maguire. I mean, it's just, really. But long may it continue.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone else, wake up, click, you're back in the room. At home,
sorry.
Let us know you're here. Just send us a like. There's only, I think, 50 odd likes. There's 130 people watching. Come on, we can do better than that. Okay, so they're gettable. The end of Rafa. We saw the end of Rafa Shan. The end of Rafa Benitez. Agent Rafa, as he is now known at Everton.
You mean Liverpool?
No, I mean Everton, as in Liverpool sent him in to kill him. That's what the Everton fans think. Roberto Martinez heavily being linked oh my God, it could just get worse for them. Did you know when Martinez was last manager of Everton, there were protests outside the stadium to get him out? And now that the Everton board, if you want a club that is actually run worse than Spurs, and there are quite a few, believe you me, Everton is a prime example. My Lord, what is going on there?
Yeah, Everton are basically a poor man's Spurs, aren't they, really?
Well, yeah, they're going to have a new stadium as well in a minute.
They break financial fair play to sign shit players.
In a few years.
Let's be honest. Their managerial situation is or was almost as embarrassing as ours in the summer. They're basically Spurs light. Like, at least we get European football. They just they're just always nearly there, but not quite. And they're the only team in the Premier League to have lost to all three bottom sides in the league. They lost to Norwich, for God's sake. I mean, if you're losing to Norwich, Burnley, and Newcastle, then there's a problem. And I mean, that 0-0 draw against Spurs in Conte's first game. Yeah. They were awful that day. It's just we didn't have any sort of end product. We were still had the Nuno hangover where we didn't quite know what we were doing. But they're awful this season. I did feel a bit sorry for him when Ancelotti was like, yeah, see ya, I'm off back to Madrid. Yeah. But come on.
But he didn't do anything anyway, did he?
Oh, Ancelotti wasn't great there. Let's be honest.
No.
But I think the strange thing is, like, I think Rafa fell out with everyone, and they fired everyone. They even sold that left back to Villa, didn't they?
Digne, who I would have loved us to sign, but we won't. Well,
we'll go on to that. I don't think we really wanted him, but anyway. Point being, they backed Rafa in every way, and then sacked him. So everything he wanted, he got. And then they sack him. It makes literally no sense whatsoever. And their recruitment, they spent over 500 million quid in the last few years. 500 million.
What I mean, and look at their squad. We complain about
we've got
squad,
issues.
But Jesus Christ!
Send them Steve Hitchin over as a care package.
They're in the negative with financial fair play as well. How are they breaking financial fair play with the squad that they've got? I don't understand. But with Martinez. You could compare it to David Moyes going back to West Ham. Yeah. None of them wanted David Moyes to go back. They wanted him out, but he's worked absolute wonders over at West Ham. Yeah. I hate to say it, but they wouldn't be saying they're massive without him. So.
On the Wobie.
Yeah,
spent similar on Theo Walcott.
Yeah.
It's just madness. Like,
they got players like. I mean, I know they've sold him, but so similar players. Bernard, all these kind of wide men that never deliver. Very odd.
Very strange. So I think we should all take a minute, be grateful we're not Everton fans. All of our problems pale into insignificance. Well, we've got Leicester coming up on Wednesday night. I'm there. Can't wait. It's only just up the road. And they've got lots of injuries and players at the African Cup of Nations as well. So they've only played once in 3 weeks, which was the 4-1 FA Cup win against Watford. Problems in defence, and attack. So Dr. Tottenham is coming to the Foxes' rescue. Izzy, Seb, what's your prediction for this one? How do you think we're going to fare against the Leicester reserves?
I hope we're like a caged tiger, but it's Tottenham. It won't be. You'd expect a team to be so fired up after what happened on Sunday to go out the first 10, 15 minutes and try and blitz. I guarantee you we're messaging on the Patreon chat 10, 15 minutes in and we're saying, like, why haven't they woken up? What's he said to them? Why are they still sleeping? So we'll see. But
do you know how many players they've got out, Seb?
Go
on. I'll give you the list if I can pronounce all the names. I'm not sure I can, to be honest. Amarty.
Let me help you. It's
Amarty.
Evans.
Johnny Evans. Yeah. Fofana. Iheanacho. Their main man up front, or one of their main men. Mendy. Ndidi. Pereira and Vardy all out. And
Vardy's out as well.
Yeah, Vardy's out for months. Yeah, he's out. He's not back till March time sometime, I think. So, and then they've got three doubts as well. And obviously we've got Dyer out still. Never thought I'd say he was a key player, but there you go. Son Heung-min is obviously injured, and the questionables are Reguilon and Romero.
Romero's back in full training, isn't he? So he could play.
Romero.
I reckon Romero will play.
Yeah. So Daka is obviously back for them, which is a threat. He's a top player, or looks to be an up and coming will be a top player. So what are your thoughts then, Seb? What kind of team we're going to put out?
Struggling to keep up, aren't we? In terms of like Shan says, we think we've got players coming back, and I think we thought Dyer would be back. You saw him kind of on the bench, so it's not COVID. Apparently, some kind of muscle strain, but he's still going to be out. I have no idea. I imagine it will be Sanchez, Romero, and one other, Tanganga.
Davis.
Davis has done very well, to be fair. I imagine we'll go with Royal because we haven't got anyone else. Sessegnon, I think, was the talk was that he'd been rested so that he could play against Arsenal, and then obviously that hasn't happened. So I'd imagine he'll come.
I'd like Sessegnon, to be fair.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he did really well against Liverpool. I felt a bit sorry for him because I feel he's the type of player who needs 2, 3, 4 games, bang, 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 not one in, one out, back in. It's great that he's got himself fit. Great that he's in Conte's thinking. I think Conte's actually said as well. He's impressed him. Will we see a Winks skip pivot? Because I think a few of us would like to see it.
What?
Not you, obviously. Yeah.
I'm not going all that way and paying all that money to see that crap, am
I? Maybe Winks and skip.
You're not so fickle. Put your flag in the ground and stand by it. A few months ago, you were slating Winks, get out of my club, all of those sort of millennial things we were saying, We
were also slating Dyer, and you just said it.
Oh, no, I've never slated Dyer. Next thing you know, we've got I have an undying love for Eric Dyer. Eric Dyer is honestly wonderful. He's a wonderful man.
So fickle.
Harry Winks, yeah. But then, to be fair, I think, was it Passos at home? I said, Harry Winks could be turning a corner here.
I'm not having it.
No, unfortunately, Seb, because we've only got Lucas and Kane to play up front, because he won't play Hill, it's going to be PEH and Winks and Skip.
Okay, well, a triple pivot then, yeah?
You'll have to Celso and Bergwijn play.
Yeah, I don't think Bergwijn will play, but I think
Bergwijn's going to Ajax.
Bergwijn's gone, yeah. 100%.
I think you could see Skip, Winks, Lo Celso, and like you say, Lucas and Kane up top. 3-5-2 would be the way I would go in this, rather than 3-4-3.
They will play 4-3-3.
Skip in the middle, Winks on the right, and Gio on the left as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be.
Is that what you want to see? Is that what you want to see?
He'll play Winks to the pivot.
Yeah. I don't know. If Skip's going to play, I think PEH will play on that right hand side. Although, because I think Skip and Winks are both very similar. But yeah, I don't know. I think it will either be PEH or Winks. I think it will be PEH because he's had a couple of games rest. He's had a bit of rest because obviously we didn't play Arsenal. I'd like to see Winks. PEH hasn't been at it, and I do just think he needs a little bit of a break. But
it's good that we got options though, because it has that is an important option, but one of them to come off the bench as well. So I think Shan's right. I think Lo Celso will play.
I think Lo Celso's. I think a couple of people have said in the comments that he's looked brighter recently, and there's something there. I've always got a soft spot for Gio. I know you don't like him, Seb, but you don't like anyone really. I just think.
Where have you got that from?
Did you not? I thought you didn't rate him.
What winds me up is that Ndombele got all those chances under Mourinho, and Gio didn't get a sniff.
Yeah, I agree.
When clearly there is a massive issue with Ndombele, and Ndombele is going to be the one that loses out here. I think we won't get rid of both. It'll be Ndombele out the door. See you later. he ain't even training with the first team anymore. And Gio's going to get his chance finally. And then if he doesn't impress by the end of the season, then he'll be gone as well.
Yeah.
So he's got the rest of the season. Hopefully he can be what we all know he can be, because you don't outperform Messi for Argentina and you're a shit player. Like, let's be serious. There's a player there. It's just whether he can do it in the Premier League or not.
He's got a good work rate as well. That's what I like about Gio. He doesn't slack off.
Over those so easy. That's
He does need to put longer studs in.
A bit of wind and he just drops.
Yeah, but he's quite stocky. He's quite tough in the challenge. He just seems to fall over, not slip over. Moving on. Conte was speaking to Sky before the North London derby and was asked if he'll be doing any transfer business. His reply was thus. You ready for this? The principal job that I can give my opinion of how to improve the team if there is a possibility to sign players. It is always right for the club to have the last word in these situations. What does that mean, Seb?
It means that, like I said, I think it means we've got to have at least knowledge of people going before we can confirm anyone coming in.
Yeah,
that's what I believe. I think from what we've heard, I think Doherty is on his way out. Bergwijn is on his way out, and then I think he'd like you say, to move Ndombele and possibly Dele on. If you do that, then there's room and there's money. That's the thing. There's no point in signing or making a signing that is just going to take up another squad place. And because January is. So you're not going to sign a world beater in January. I know people have said about Dybala and all this. It's not going to happen. Dybala won't sign for anyone in January.
He's not a world beater anyway, Seb. He's been terrible recent years. So
yeah, but he's not bothering, is he? Because he's at the end of his contract and he knows that someone paying $400,000 a week come June. It won't be us.
The last 2 years. That's all I'd say.
I think that's a bit over the top. I think he's a very decent player. But there's so many of them. This is the ridiculous thing in football now. There's so many players on ridiculous money. We've seen it ourselves with Ndombele. It's hard to get players out of clubs and it's hard to bring players into clubs because the money is just ridiculous. There's the odd little bargain to be had, but it will be a squad place. It won't be. We're not going to sign anyone who's going to go straight into the 11 and be one of the best players in the team. So you've got to be really careful with what you do.
Yeah.
I still think, I hate to break this, I still think there's a chance we sign nobody.
Okay, well, let's talk about that. So I think we are about to announce a new signing. Not a new signing, a current signing extending his contract. Hugo Lloris is apparently a done deal, 2 years extension. How do you feel about that, Shan?
If we do that, that's our best signing of the window.
I love it. That's exactly what they want you to say. Exactly what they want. It's just like signing a new player.
It is. If Hugo goes, we're in trouble. I think we'd struggle to replace Hugo. He's like a fine wine. He's got better with age. If you're looking to replace him, you're looking at 30 million plus on a decent keeper. He's top 3 in the Premier League. He's up there with Ederson and Alisson, 100%. He's the French captain. He's our captain. He's been at the club for 10 years. He deserves it every bit and more. And I just really, I've said it before on here and I'll say it again. What I would give to see that man lift a trophy with Spurs, because no one deserves it more than he does. He's sacrificed so much and stayed loyal to this club. And for that, I'd love nothing more. Him and Son, I'd love nothing more than to see him and Son lift a trophy with Spurs, 100%.
Yeah. It would be nice, wouldn't it? John, how are you feeling about Hugo's extension?
Like I said last week, since Project Restart, he's been our best player, isn't he? By far. I think we've all got just our love for him's increased immensely. But it's a no-brainer. He needs a new contract. We need to keep him. I mean, I'll put up in the comments, Galini apparently might be going to Lazio, which is a new one on me. I think he's definitely needs to be gone.
He ain't the
and
answer.
To be gone, but not in the January window, surely to God.
depends who they bring in, doesn't it? I think Shan's right. You're talking 30 plus million now, whereas we need to spend 30 million on a lot of other areas first. So by keeping him, happy days. The only weakness he's got is his distribution. But since Mourinho was there, he just kicks it down the pitch now and doesn't kick it out for throw-in so much, trying to find the fullback. So he's definitely improved for that. But yeah, he's our captain by a long way. And not Harry Kane, like they always seem to say in the press.
He loves Spurs as well, Hugo. He's been a long-term servant to the club. Seb, you happy with that?
100%, yeah. Club legend. There's no other ways about it. There's not many players that we've had who've obviously lasted so long. He's record Premier League appearance maker, captain. Yeah, I love him. He had a dodgy few months, I think, few years ago. But as John said, since Project Restart, he's been fantastic. A phenomenal shot stopper. Some of the saves he pulls off are out of this world. I don't think, if I'm being really honest, I don't think he's Edison or Alisson quality, but he's just underneath that bracket. But it's important to have leaders, and Conte will need kind of henchmen almost to kind of see that the club is and the players are doing the right things, and need someone to enforce that. We saw that obviously in the documentary with the Son issue. I don't believe that was just for camera. I think that was pure frustration from Hugo's part, and I think we all love to see it. It meant a lot to us to see that it meant a lot to him. So 100% get him signed up, and 2 years makes sense. I think that'll keep him at the club probably till retirement. He might go and have a final year somewhere in France, but I think it's a great deal all round.
Yeah. Traore, obviously, we've already discussed Adama, but I've only really heard Seb's take on it. Shan, you pleased about? I haven't really heard you enough about you and Adama. What do you think of this lubed up beast?
I mean, I'm surprised that Levy's putting his hands in his pocket for the amount of baby oil we're going to need if we sign him up. But no, I think he's a good addition. I think it makes sense. Seeing what Conte did with Victor Moses, if he does anywhere near the same with Conte, with Adama, then it's a good signing. But we need it to work. I think it has got an element of risk to it because we're signing him to play in a position that he's not played in before, as far as I'm aware. But just imagine Traore and Lucas down that right wing. Teams are going
to be honest, Conte's fullbacks don't do that much defending. So I know
Emerson has been, though. He's been defensively solid.
Yeah.
This is the thing. He's been defending really well. So
I think the frustration is with Emerson, though. He doesn't get up the pitch enough.
This is it. I think they'll probably still be rotated. So I think in games where we will be expecting to get up the pitch more, we'll be using Traore.
Yeah.
In teams where we need to be a bit more defensively sound, we'll use Emerson. But I still think Emerson has a lot to give. I think he can work on his final ball. I think he's got it in him. It's just doing it in match situations under pressure. He's still a young kid. He's clearly got loads of potential. I don't think it's right for some of our fan base to be writing him off like they are. But I do think it will be good to have options because, again, Doherty isn't it.
I agree. And John, moving on from Adama, because we'll talk a lot about that on Thursday, I'm sure. It's been reported that Sir Ralph Rangnick wants rid of Lingard and Martial. Lingard apparently can't be signed right now. Would you take him at the end of the season, do you think? I don't think United are going to deal with any of the top Premier League teams.
I would take him now, but I'm not sure I'd want him in the summer on a long contract because he'll want big money. And I'm sure there must be better players we can bring in the summer, surely. But as a short term, for the job he did for West Ham, it'd be good. That said, I'm not sure where he'd fit into the team. A bit like Coutinho. Where exactly would he fit? Because I guess he could play on the right of the three instead of Lucas. I don't know, but he was phenomenal for West Ham last year, and that surprised, I think, pretty much all of us, didn't it?
It took me by surprise, I've got to be honest. That's a classic reason why Dele needs a loan to try and reignite himself in the same way that Lingard did. But I can't see anything happening now with Man United. They just won't release. They won't release him to a rival, and we are absolutely a rival right now with where Man United are at. Apparently, we made a loan move for Martial, though. That surprised me, Seb. Were you a little bit surprised or horrified about that?
Yeah, yeah. I don't like Martial. I think look, I guess I'm a bit old-fashioned. I think you should look like you enjoy it when you're getting paid hundreds of thousands of pounds a week to kick a football around. I've never seen a player swear so much. Puta, 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 every time he kicks the ball. I really don't like him. A player I do like is Lingard, and I don't think he would suit us. But in terms of personal performances, I haven't seen him have a bad game. Now, he hasn't played a lot, but whenever I've seen him, going back to when he joined West Ham and when he's played for United and when he's played for England, he plays well every week. So it does make me question why he can't get in teams, whether it's an attitude thing or something like that. But in terms of performance, I've not seen Lingard have a bad game. He affects games. He came on for England recently in the internationals where he hadn't got into the squad originally, and then there was a few dropouts and he got called up. And he came on, he bossed the game for 20 minutes. Absolutely superb. Put a marker down, and that's what you want. So I don't quite get why he can't get into teams. Maybe it's what we spoke about earlier with United, where they don't play this system with the player kind of floating around. But yeah, in a way, I guess you'd look at it and say, is he too similar to Dele, who we're trying to move on anyway? Can I just go back to what you're saying, especially that Emerson point coming up with what we were talking about with Adama? Because my concern with the Adama situation is, I think Emerson does get into very good positions, attacking as well as defensive. I think he's positionally okay. His final ball, as Shan said, is appalling, but we're going to replace him with someone whose final ball is appalling. So I don't get it. I don't get why Adama has got no end product, as we've said and said and said and said.
Well, no, as you've said and said and said.
No, everyone said that. It's been said all over the media. He's got one goal and no assists. You know, that's not great. So we're replacing someone who has.
Those numbers don't really tell the whole truth, to be honest. But yeah, I accept that his final ball needs work. It's fair to say.
Yeah, you've got the thing that Wolves are more defensively minded than attacking minded, but maybe they'd be more attacking minded if they had a player who had some output.
It gets you up the pitch. I don't really get the output stuff. I think it's nonsense, and I think when he signs for us, I think he'll surprise you. I think I'll be replaying this. I think I'll be replaying this back to you and going, "I told you so" the whole way along. Because I think what he does is he breaks lines, and we haven't got a player. And my dad would say there's no other player in the Premier League like Traore. Like he is unique. There is no one. You just can't get the ball off him in those situations, and the amount of free kicks he wins, which Kane will put over the bar or straight into the wall, and the amount of players he takes out, right? When he's carrying the ball, that's something we haven't had for a very long time. Dare I say, since Moussa Dembele was in our midfield, and he just used to glide past people. He would take on people and beat them and create lots of space. So it's not always about the assists and the goals, but he has done that for a season as well. If you look back,
you're doing a massive disservice to Moussa Sissoko there.
I thought you were going to say Harry Kane. To be honest, no, he's definitely right on Kane. I do think that he will break lines and he will break teams down. And when teams are sitting deep, he is the kind of ace in the hole you need to break those sides down. I think he'd be very, very good for us. I think he's a good fit. And if he can play right wing back, then even better. 2 years ago, what I was going to say was, before you interrupted me, he had the season of his life at Wolves. I watched him destroy us at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, destroy us before we pushed him off the pitch.
That was at Wolves. It was at Wolves.
It was at Spurs. I was sat there with my dad and he was gloating the whole way.
3-2. Yeah, 3.
He was smashing. He was absolutely smashing. But that season, he was fantastic in a lot of games and did get goals and assists, and his finishing was really good. So my point is, he's got it in his locker. It's just whether someone can get the best out of him. And I hear you that we're not buying a finished article product. We're not, but you're never going to in January. So you've got to try and buy people that are going to improve your squad and help. And I think as such, I think he can absolutely help the side.
I think
break those teams
Traore and Lucas, the speed of Traore, Lucas and Son and Reguilon would absolutely terrify opposition as well, especially those sides that don't have a lot of pace in their back line.
No one likes playing against Traore. No defender likes playing against Traore. No midfielder.
Four very good players there. And the way Conte plays, he wants to use the wings. He wants to use your fullbacks, your wide players. That's how he wants to play. If you've got four very, very quick, because Emerson isn't that quick, I don't think. If you've got four very, very quick players running at you, it's going to scare you. You're going to force other teams to make more mistakes. And we can win the ball back higher up the pitch. So Kane, Son, Moura can all pounce on that. And Moura's finishing has actually got a lot better this season. He's having the season of it. He's having his best season at Spurs.
Oh yeah, he is. Yeah.
So,
I mean, the other thing my dad pointed out to me that up front, Adama's part of the reason his assist ratio is so bad. They haven't been scoring goals, and that most of their forwards were out last season. This season, what's his name? The lad who had the really bad skull injury. Jimenez just doesn't look the same player. They used to have a really good rapport. Now it's not so good. So there's many reasons. I think you can manipulate stats to say lots of stuff. Clearly, he needs to up his output. But there's a player in there. There's a player.
You're winning me round, caller. You're winning me round.
Can I put my 2 penny worth in on them?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Firstly, he has played right wing back a couple of times at Wolves. I've seen it when Doherty was out, but only really as a fill-in. But what he'll do, Seb, is he will drag 2 or 3 players across to him and make space.
Yeah.
And Caller's right. There was a situation. I think 6 or 7 goals were scored by Jimenez, and Wolves always used to win 1-0. Don't they? They quite often do still. And it was Traore to Jimenez. And it happened 6, 7 times in about 10, 12 games. And it was a little bit of a thing for a while. I think if he can get that with Kane or Son, his crossing is better than Emerson. I mean, to be fair, my crossing is better than Emerson, and I'm sat in the chair. Emerson's crossing is terrible. Hopefully he can improve that. We've seen the training videos of him crossing. But
what about defensively, though? Because
no, you're right. Defensively, Emerson's good. I like Emerson. I think Emerson could be a right centre-back.
What about Adama defensively? Because we're saying...
I think Shan hit the nail on the head, Seb. I think Emerson will play in games where, like, say we're playing Man City, you play Emerson, wouldn't you?
I know this, but you still need, even if we're playing an attacking lineup with Adama as a wing back, he still needs to defend. Like Eriksen, when we played Eriksen in the hole, still ran backwards. Moura as a winger still runs backwards. Do we think Adama is a capable wing back?
It's an unknown quantity. It's an unknown quantity. Exactly. We've not seen him do it.
Risk. So it's a risk.
It's a risk I trust Conte on more than you or me.
Fair enough. Look, we all hope that if he comes, that he's the real deal. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
All right, let's ask you about this.
Look good in white as well.
What with all that baby oil going on? All that baby oil going on.
What about splash paint, Shan? What about the splashed paint shirt?
He'll look even better in that one.
Right, listen, stop it. Markandé looks like he's off, unfortunately. Only 20 years old and he's off to Blackburn. Is this Levy's fault, Shan?
Look, I said this on Friday. I don't think we can blame Levy for this one. If we've offered him a contract and he don't want it because he wants to play regular first team football and he don't want to go out on loan, what can Levy do? There's nothing that Levy can do.
Well, he wouldn't be dealing with it anyway, would it? It'd be Paratici all the way.
It'll be,
because money's not going to be an issue at that level of football, is it? It's not like...
No, but like Seb says, Levy's going to always have the final decision on everything. So
he won't have the final decision on that.
It's not their fault. Am I annoyed he's going? Yes. Do I think he could be a great player? Yes. But ultimately, I'd like to think that the people making the decision to let him go will have a good buyback clause in that deal, or a hefty sell on clause. so we at least make something if he does turn out to be what we all think he can. At the end of the day, he's only been performing in the under-23s this season. Before that, none of us really knew who he was. And Conte still keeps picking Dane Scarlett over him. So I think that says it all.
John, Arkandé, how many people who have been slating the club on Twitter have seen him play 90 minutes, do you think?
Not many, I have to say.
Because I haven't.
No, and I haven't. Obviously, I tweeted that goal the other day, and the next thing he's being sold. So
it's your fault, John.
Yeah, it's all my fault. The good thing was, and I can't remember, somebody's commented saying they went to the game. Oh, Adrian said he went to the game tonight. Is that Scarlett played tonight? Because Scarlett's played hardly any games for the under-23s. And he's just been training with the first team and sat on the bench and not getting on. Or they got on for 2 minutes against Morecambe. So Scarlett needs to play. He needs to go on loan or play in those under-23 games. So it'd be good for him to get that experience rather than him being our backup striker, which and not getting any game time. But yeah, Markanday wants to go. It's not the board's fault. 5 managers have chosen not to pick him. I think he got 5 minutes in the Conference League. So they obviously gave him an indication that he wasn't going to get close to the first team. So what do we let him do? Walk away for free in 6 months, a year's time? I don't know when his contract runs out. They've got to sell him with Shan says.
6 months.
Yeah, with a sell-on fee. I think it's good. There you go. Adrian's commented.
Seb, your view on this?
Yeah, exactly. Shan absolutely hit the nail on the head. He's going to Blackburn, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Can't we do a part exchange for Brereton Diaz? That'd be all right.
Mm-hmm. No.
Another Stoke-born player. Brereton Diaz, I don't know if you know about this kid.
I do, yeah. He's tearing it up.
So he's absolutely ripping it up ever since he had a call up from Chile. Scored something like 3 goals in 2 seasons for Nottingham Forest and Blackburn. And then gets a call up to Chile when they find out that his mum's Chilean. Goes over there, plays with Sanchez and the others, is an instant hero, comes back to Blackburn and just cannot stop scoring. So it just shows what a bit of confidence can do for a player. So, yeah, apparently there's quite a few clubs after him. You're looking at upwards of 20 million. But, it would be interesting if we did take a punt on someone from the Championship. It's not something that we've done really for a while. I don't know if it's ever worked out for us apart from the last one I can really think of is obviously Dawson.
Yeah.
But
Andy Reid, who didn't turn out that well, to be fair.
Yeah.
He spent most of his life overweight. If you think Ndembele was bad, Andy Reid.
Oh yeah.
He likes a pie. Christian Eriksen looks like he's on his way back into the Premiership. Looks like Brentford might be taking a punt on him for till the end of the season at least. Shan, how do you feel about Christian coming back? Be weird seeing him in a different shirt.
Absolutely. I mean, firstly, I'd only want to see him back if it wasn't at the detriment of his health. But according to him, it was a freak incident, and the pacemaker he's had installed would alert him before it got to that point again. So hopefully he is of good health and is fine to play. But I think Brentford would be a good place for. I think Thomas Frank's Danish, isn't he? And they've got quite a few Danish players in the Brentford setup. If he's wanting to get fit for the World Cup, it's probably a good club for him to go to, get some minutes. He improves Brentford. They're going to stay up, so they'll be in the Championship. They'll be in the Premier League next season as well. But yeah, on a free deal, I think it's a bit of a no-brainer. Even if you get 50% of the Eriksen we all know and love, he improves their side. So I still think he could probably improve our side as well. So that doesn't really say much, does it? We haven't got anything like Eriksen in our team, but I don't think he had. I think if Conte came to us when we had the 16-17 squad, then we'd have smashed it. And Eriksen, because he'd go forward, he'd track back, he'd do everything that he needed to do. But the Eriksen towards the end, when Poch got sacked and Jose came, just weren't the same. He weren't working as hard. Obviously, he went and played under Conte and won the Scudetto. But again, he's not as fit. So would he be able to play under Conte now? It's too many ifs, and it's another thing that would be a massive risk. But yeah, I think Brentford could be a good decision for him. Nice mid-table club, get some fitness back, and go from there.
Seb, was that your coffin opening? No.
No.
No. What's your view on Eriksen? I guess you'll just be happy to see him playing football again.
No. I know that sounds awful, but no, it won't. It will terrify me every time I see him on the pitch. I know they have all the checks and everything else, and as Shan said, he'll probably be over monitored more than anything. But that was the most upset I've ever been watching a football match ever. It terrified me, and I kind of still feel the same way. Feel very uneasy, and I know, I don't know, I can't profess to know anything about the medical side of it at all. But just on a personal level, I find it quite alarming. Oh,
there you go. Maybe it wasn't your coffin. Maybe it was Levy's wallet.
we need to oil our doors. Definitely. It's Sorry about that.
Well, who do we need to talk about outs very briefly? So Tommy Ndembele, I've seen that he's now. There it is again.
She's doing it on purpose now.
There is a mute button, Seb, and I will use it. Tommy Ndembele apparently is now written down to 30 million value. Who thinks 30 million is a bargain for Tongi?
No one.
I'd take 30p if it meant he got the fuck out of our club.
You just say it as it is, Shan. You just say it as it is. Apparently Jose's sniffing around. Jose's interested.
Was the only one that wasn't at Morecambe with us, obviously on here, and you two both knew what my facial expression was throughout.
Well, you saw mine whenever Harry Winks got on the ball, to be fair, so it's a fair trade.
And then Harry Winks scored an absolute worldie, so...
A fluke.
I was so gutted I didn't have my camera ready to take a picture of Caller's face, because I had a perfect picture of your face and the big screen saying Harry Winks goal right above your head. And you just looked bewildered. It was quite funny. Anyway,
it was a bewildering moment, if I'm being really honest.
In Ndembele, I've never been so angry. I actually think my level of anger was at the same level as when I was at the United game and Nuno subbed off Lucas for Bergwijn. I think I was actually...
What about when Manchester City Andy was on here? Was it that bad?
Oh, yeah.
That was levels, that was.
Yeah. It just absolutely disgusted me, the way he behaved. Obviously, slowly trotting off, then the boos, then he got slower, then he threw his gloves into the crowd. Just petulant, like...
Nearly got flogged on a train.
Yeah, and we were like, 30p.
Well, no, I've been in the grand. I didn't know there's a word.
Yeah, it's just disgraceful. Like, you're getting paid 200k a week to play football. At least show a bit of respect to the club and the fans that are paying your wages. The way he just completely disrespected the badge in that moment, and from that on, we all said it. I don't want to see him play in the Spurs shirt again. He needs to go. So I'll be glad if he goes, and I'd get rid of him for free if we could. Just pay him off. Just get him out. I don't think we don't need that type of toxicity around the club, and we're doing well in getting players like that out the door. Clearly, he was a massive problem last season. We wanted to get him out in the summer, and we couldn't. We just need to do what we can do to get him out, because it's not good to have that around the squad. And I'm glad Conte's now seen it and isn't letting him train with him anymore.
Well, yeah. John, what were you going to say? You look like you're about to spring into action then. No?
No, well, we talked about why has it dropped from, 54 to 30 million. That's basically what we've probably written off in our accounts, isn't it? So we're just trying to break even as far as the accounts go, I'm guessing. Yeah, literally. But
buy one Ndembele, get a Doherty free.
January sale, 50%.
Yeah, must go.
And the Delhi as well. I mean, ultimately, he's going to be a loan. No one's going to buy him right now. He needs to loan. We need to hope he shows another club some form and they buy him in the summer.
Yeah. Oh, look who's in the chat.
He's been to the kids' game tonight.
Here he is.
There he is.
There he is, Stevie. He's
Apparently-
toxic, lazy, and not informed. He needs to go, preferably to Arsenal. I hear they need some players. Touche. Touche, Steve. Touche.
Apparently,
He'd fit right in. Another way cooling attitude problem. Cockwomble.
Good. Yep.
He can sit right next to Aubameyang on the bench. Lovely.
Buying £500,000 a week in no more than that. Just time to wish one of our patrons a happy birthday, James P. It was last week actually, but we missed your shout out because I forgot on Friday, so apologies for that. But happy birthday! Hope you had a great time. Do we need to talk about Bergwijn, Seb? Are you disappointed to see him going? Because believe it or not, it looks like he may be on the way out.
No, I'm not disappointed really. It's kind of covered it at the start.
He splits opinion though, doesn't he? I've seen during the chat there's a few people who've got a bit of time for Bergwijn. I mean, I personally haven't, but
it's no end product. So I feel a little bit sorry for him because I think he started quite well. Obviously with the debut goal, and then I remember him playing well away at Villa when I think we scored in the last minute. Son did, and I think he played well that game. Might have scored there. He was doing all right, and then obviously lockdown came, and actually when we restarted, obviously he scored the goal against United, and then it just kind of dragged. And I think if you ask anyone what they remember about Steven Bergwijn, it will be missing that chance against Liverpool. So it's a shame for him. But again, we're going to take the hit. Seemed like a rush signing. Obviously, that was when
it was, wasn't it? It was a rush signing.
The documentary kind of made that clear. I think he suddenly became available and we were like, yeah, go for it. Steve Hitchin with his little folder with
his little football manager printout.
Little Jedson Fernandez printout that says this guy's a midfielder and he's Portuguese. Yeah, sign him up. So it's just another one that didn't really make any sense. But Steve, he'd never deserved a run in the team. You get a run in the team if you're impressing or there's signs of improvement. That is another thing. He's had his injuries. But it's probably all those neck exercises he's been doing. The size of his
he does do
neck.
that a lot, doesn't he?
Have you seen the size of it though? You couldn't get your hands around it. It's massive.
Yeah. He's for me, he plays better without a moustache. Well, he hasn't got that little moustache thing. He's a lot better. Seriously, I'm telling you, he is. I think it's another thing that we have to talk about though. That if it's 15 million quid, that's a 13 million pound loss again. Yeah.
I think that's why he's not gone yet.
I think maybe this is a sign of Daniel Levy maybe changing a little bit and realizing that sometimes you need to take losses, you cut your losses rather than trying to squeeze every penny out that you can. If it's not working, it's not good for the team, then you need to take a loss sometimes, and that's what we've been so bad at previously. So I'm not going to stick up for him too much because he's pissing me off at the minute, but I suppose at least there's signs of him trying to do the right thing.
He's pissing you off.
Levy.
What's he pissing you off for?
Many reasons, caller. Many reasons.
What's he done to you apart from put the price of your sausage roll and pie up?
That takes the piss in the middle of a blooming transfer window where you ain't signed anybody. Oh, we can't afford to spend too much in January. Here, pay more for your sausage roll, pay more for your hot chocolate at half time.
Have a lovely day. In fairness, he's never said we can't afford to spend anything in January, and we did fork out over 100 million in the summer. So, I have it on good authority from a Badger that there is a signing about it's done. It's just waiting.
It's Traore, isn't it? It's Traore.
May well be. Well, there's two, isn't there? There's Traore and Hugo. In my opinion,
come on,
Hugo isn't signing.
You said it was like signing a new player earlier.
I said it will be one of the best signings of the window, but it's not a new signing, is it? We need new signings.
I didn't say it was a new signing. I just said it was a signing. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
We need new signings. Also,
Oh dear.
really, really poor timing of the blooming property complex as well. What are we now? Property FC.
But that's nothing to do with the club, is it? That's the local authority.
But it's still it's just really bad timing.
Yeah, but they can't do anything about the timing. That's not their place.
It's still just so frustrating. I get we
Blame the
need to
Borough
do it
Council.
because of the planning permission, but
Blame the
still,
Borough Council.
yeah,
They're the
they're
ones
shit
who-
as well.
They're the ones that announced it, not Spurs. Spurs have not announced anything on that.
Shan, if I can take you back to the catering thing, the problem is Spurs don't run the catering. They have a catering company, and Spurs get a percentage of the profits. The profits Spurs get out of it will actually not be that big in the grand scheme of things. The trouble is the catering company suppliers have whacked the prices up. I've got the same thing. I've got a meeting tomorrow because my shop suppliers
But just wait
are whacking
until
their prices up.
They could wait a couple of weeks until the window closes.
Yeah, no, I was going to get to that. Saying, unfortunately, the timing is
second.
terrible.
She's back.
The timing's terrible, ultimately, but that's why it's gone up. It's not because Levy's trying to raise money for the transfer window. It's just to cover the cost. I've got exactly the same thing at work, and I'm sure Paula has it in his business.
If we're relying on a few pies for our January transfer kitty, we've got bigger problems than Derby County. I'm telling you, that would be an absolute nightmare. Where's Shan gone? Shan, are you there, Shan? Are you there, Shan? No,
She'll be back.
She's gone. We've finally silenced her. There you go, John. There's a stat for you. The club take $1 million a game from the food.
The club don't. That's the revenue, but it's a profit share between Compass or Levy Restaurants, which is part of Compass, who also own Chartwells, who do all the school dinners and things like that. They also do Wimbledon, they do Brentford, Chelsea, Twickenham Stadium, and the club. But out of that, they've got to cover their costs. They pay 1,000 odd staff a game when they've got enough staff, because that's another issue. Lack of staff at all these big events is a huge problem. And then you've got your other ongoing costs as well. So it's not a profit thing.
That's cheeky, Phil. No game yesterday. We needed the sales of bottle to fund his signing on fee.
In all seriousness, though, they're signing a winger, aren't they? Chiquinho or something, which is a brilliant name.
Yes, they've done it. £1.5 million, £2 million. But he is Traore's replacement. Rapid, apparently.
Basically, yeah. But how good is he if he's only that much money? That makes it, because he's 26, isn't he, or something? He's not like an 18-year-old.
Signed from South America, though. I mean,
he'll be another. He'll be another one of Mendes's deals. That's the other thing with Traore. You know, Mendes is his agent, who is obviously very well linked to the club right now. So I've no doubt the Traore deal is done. It's absolutely going to be done. Seb's forecast of 0 players in isn't going to happen.
I didn't say that.
No, you said it could happen.
I said it could happen.
I'm saying it won't happen. I'm putting my reputation on the line. I haven't got a reputation.
What reputation?
That it won't happen. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Look at that. It's almost as if I'm psychic. Although I don't know who Amada Traore is. But yeah.
It's his sister. Daniel Lincoln's doing it on the cheap, 50% off if you buy Amada rather than
Adama. The wrong one.
We've got your wife. We've got Amanda.
Like Fernandez all over again. We thought we were getting Bruno when really we got Jedson.
We've signed them. We've signed the wrong Adama.
We've got Amanda Traore.
Gov, there's a real unfortunate lack of understanding. Shout out, Gov, channel member. Understanding of how clubs run. It's frustrating for fans, sure, but the info is there at Company's House if you want to see the accounts. Yeah. I believe Steve Diver did a very interesting show with you, Shan. Maybe you should retweet that and pin it.
I had to sit and listen through like 2.5 hours of finance, and I understand how the club is run, but it's not so much. I understand price increases. I understand inflation. I'm experiencing it with work. It is life, but the club just need to read the room a little bit and make these announcements at the right time and not try and be sneaky little sausages, squeezing it in right at the bottom of your match day email that no one reads.
Yeah, Shan's nailed it. People wouldn't need to question what's going on if the announcements were done better. That is it's simple as that. There's so many better. I think we are a well-run club, obviously, but there's so many other clubs that do things better in terms of their fan engagement. I mean, I always think Leicester kind of lead the line with what they do, are kind of keeping fans on side. Yeah. And Levy and his team, PR, whatever, they haven't got it yet.
It's like when we lose the game. We've just lost the game. Oh, here's 50% off in the club shop online.
Yeah. It's
Come
all
on.
These. Yeah, you spot on, Shan. That's where it falls down, and that's where you get people then questioning and then coming up with kind of false representations of what actually is happening, certainly financially. So yeah, it's Shan's spot on. They just need to pull their finger out when it comes to kind of fan engagement. Really, we don't feel very well thought of. That's the long and short.
It's the old classic, isn't it? Project Restart. You know, when we started with 3,000 fans in, and they charged us £60 a ticket, and then after the event thought, oh, okay, we'll give them food free because we've really cocked up the PR. When other clubs were doing it for like £30 or whatever, £25, it's expensive business going to the football, as I'm sure you're aware, Seb, because for you it's a mega trek, isn't it? Mega
Ridiculous.
The patron is not going up by 50p. The patron offers fantastic value, and the details are in the scrolling ticker at the bottom of the screen if you want to join for just £3 a month, which is definitely less than a Daniel Levy sausage roll.
They are good though.
You get 24/7 entertainment. So it's the patron, Shan. Come on,
Levy's sausage rolls.
Chaps, I have to go.
We're wrapping, Seb. We're wrapping.
Are we wrapping? Okay.
We're wrapping. Don't worry. I know it's your bedtime, so don't worry about that.
I've got a massive, and I mean a massive spreadsheet of stock to go through. I'm going to be up to like 2 a.m.
Good stuff. Well, listen, for those of you watching, do subscribe and set your alarm bell. We have got Fabrizio Romano coming on here Thursday, 1:35 in the afternoon. It's going to be myself, HG, sitting down, asking him all the transfer questions that are on your mind, that are on our mind as well. So do set your reminder for that. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and the bell. That will tell you whenever we go live. Please do, again, drop a like on this show. That really helps us out. Costs you nothing and takes approximately a second. And, of course, there will be a pod released. I believe Brendan McGurty, if he's in the chat, is releasing the midweek pod this week, available on Spotify, available on Apple Podcasts and all good podcast platforms, as we take on Leicester at the King Power. It should be a crack on the 19th. Cracking game, that should be. Can't wait. I'm there, so I won't be on the show, but I'll be listening to that podcast the very next day. And then we're back Friday with a packed show to recap all of that. And by that point, obviously, Lloris's contract will be done. We'll have signed Dybala, and and obviously Eriksen will be back, and Traore as well. So
and Leandro Demal.
So Seb,
Messi's coming back, and we're going to revitalise his career because he's flopped at PSG.
Seb, any last words from yourself? You've said quite a lot already.
No, I'm all worded out. I'm spent, caller.
Thanks for joining us, mate. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Much appreciated.
Shan, once again, it is always a pleasure to have you on, and you've got through it, even with that sore throat.
I've been in a much better mood this evening.
Yeah, you have been happy.
I've had time to reflect.
I just think it's because you had KFC for tea, actually. But
I had KFC for dinner. I've had time to reflect. I am still pissed off about yesterday, but
you've reflected on your actions, yeah?
No, because I still feel how I felt then, but it just annoyed me. We'll do this business, but we should be doing it much sooner in the window, and it really grinds my gears. But hey, rather the late than not at all.
Absolutely. That is what man says. And John, again, thanks for joining us all the way from the South Coast.
The positivity in this room is amazing. I really wasn't expecting it with Shan and Seb here tonight. It's amazing.
I don't know what you mean.
They're well behaved. Until next time, come on, you Spurs, up the Leicester. Let's smash them.
Come on, you
Spurs.
Go on.